So you mentioned some internships. So
Yes.
on that note, I thought I'd ask, is there anything that you think employers or even academia could do to help people enter or transition into the industry?
Yes, a lot actually. Rather, I feel that this is all like quantum ecosystem. That's what even Creed and Bear is doing. Although being from an industry and that to a private industry, it's not the clear responsibility of Creed and Bear to do or to build this quantum ecosystem around the MENA region or in UAE particularly, but we are trying to do it best. So like we are having collaborations with different universities, different institutions. We are also in talks with TII and Khalifa University. We are already into collaboration with Abu Dhabi University, which is again a private university, and with other industry partners as well, like all around the globe. We have been partnered with a few of the industries that are working in quantum computing extensively. So, also particularly in the region focusing, what we are doing from our end is we try to provide as much as uh, exposure to new students or newcomers through internships. We also try to do this outreach activity, which is again not part of from a private industry perspective, because this is normally have been seen in government institutions. But Korean Bear is also supporting this outreach where we go to different colleges and universities and give them the basic uh, basic introduction about quantum computing, because quantum computing is very much hyped. Everyone knows the word, but what is underlying beneath that quantum computing word, no one knows about that. Not even the career path. New students don't understand what are the new career paths that they have. So we took this initiative by ourselves, and we do this outreach programs. We do collaborations, we provide internships, and also it is interesting that these internships, the interns that we have, we are also absorbing them as a full-time employee at Grid and Bear.
Perfect. It's interesting that you mentioned that a lot of the students may not know what a career in this
Exactly.
industry might look like, and I think that's a really important thing to recognize. And that was sort of a part of the reason I wanted to set this up. I think a lot of students may feel that it's an exclusive club to work for a. Oh, look, it is exclusive, but it doesn't really have to be, and it won't be in
Yes.
X amount of years, I guess. We don't want to predict anything, but um, yeah, I think that's important, and that was sort of part of the reason I wanted to set this up to speak to people like yourself, and you know, people can
Yeah.
relate in some way to the people that are currently working in it.
Yeah, even universities I have seen that they are playing a massive role into creating the workforce, because if you see like the quantum theorists and physicists, okay, there are many researchers, many quantum theorists and physicists, but there are very few engineers or the workforce who is going to implement all those theories into uh, actual solutions or actual which is going to solve the actual problems in the real world. So this workforce is very less. There is scarce of uh, the working people, you can say, or the people who are going to implement these theories into practical life. So that gap has to be somehow we need to reduce that gap. And the way that can be done is by providing awareness about quantum computing, providing knowledge that is going to lead these new students or new generation into the actual workforce that is going to be like industry ready workforce, where I feel universities are doing this work prominently. So and there are again two things into this as well when it comes to universities that I have seen is one thing when uh, where they want to start it from a very early stage. So when you start the introduction about quantum physics or quantum mechanics from a very early stage, but if you are going to wait for that early stage people to reach to the industry level, again the gap is going to get widened, like far more widened. So what we have to do is we have to do it two ways. This is again my thought process. Like first, where you are going to start with the early stage education at the foundation level itself, so then they'll be like industry ready by the end. Also for the current people who are in master's course or who are in bachelor's course, if you want to make them industry ready, I feel you don't have to start them from the very basics of the quantum physics, but you need to start them from what is the difference between bits and qubits and how are you going to apply that knowledge. I think that should be enough to make them right now currently available for the industry. So that is like how to implement that knowledge or how to convert that theoretical knowledge into the practical one, which can be done in a one way. I see it's like from computer science students, like they can just do this coding, try to understand how this works, basic concepts get cleared and then try to code it, and along with experience you get more knowledge. But
Yeah, no,
again, this is like my personal view, because we cannot wait for the younger generation to get all the basics and then get into the industry. We need to start working now. We cannot wait for like later, 5 years or 7 years later.
yeah, I agree. There's too much to be done. You've mentioned a couple already, but are there any, do you have any role models or anyone that you look up to in the industry?
um when it comes to role model, I feel like again this is a more personal thing,
Yeah,
that I don't look at people or that as a single person as a role model, but I would like to have their work to be admired.
yeah.
And that way I do admire Dr. Vadim Makarau's work. And I was fortunate enough to meet him in person during this TII event. So I can say like 2025 has started on a pretty good note for me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because there were like two events that I have already attended from Khalifa University, and where I was a speaker, and at the TII where I met Dr. Vadim Makarov, and also I witnessed the first quantum machine in my life. So that was the first quantum machine that I visited at the TII labs.
Wow.
So I feel like again it comes to for role model for me, it is more prominently like what work they have done rather than a person as a whole.
Yeah.
And I like to take like whatever good qualities they have. I'm just again like learning. I'm still learning.
Yeah, and that's a theme that I've noticed among everyone that I've interviewed so far, and I'm sure that's going to continue as everybody's still learning. That never stops. Which is only a good thing. Um, so I thought we'd move on to the final question. Um, so what's something that you've seen recently, either in the quantum industry or just technology, tech in general, that really excites you?
Yeah. So the entire quantum computing field itself is very much exciting. And recently, also it's like quantum computing has received a lot of hype. Okay, it is having a big bubble actually. So many people are having. Of course, it is always going to be like pros and cons to every technology, and people will be having different notions and understanding about the same technology. So again, from my understanding, what I feel is with respect to quantum computing, quantum sensing, and quantum communications is something that is going to have more traction in the coming years with respect to the advancement that we have seen recently. And again, from these big tech giants, which have resources, a lot of resources to put into to get the best qubits possible, whether that may be any technology. So I feel that competition, what they have in um, between different technologies as well. I think that is of more interest for me. The quantum internet that is coming into existence, and worldwide there is this awareness about quantum computing, and everyone is uh, into the race, I would say, to build the best quantum computer. And it would be very much interesting to see who is going to come up with the first one with more qubits and better qubits. Not just more is sufficient, but we need better noise free qubits. So that is of more interest for me. And as long as it comes to this applied research, that is my work. So currently we are working into like hybrid models, so we cannot go complete quantum at the moment, since there is a lot of work we need to do overall. with respect to quantum information, information processing, and communications, and every stage, whatever you can think about. So right now at this moment we are doing it in a hybrid way where you don't have to change the entire AI systems that you have, but you can just plug and play. You can use quantum computing as a GPU overall. Okay, this is how I like to explain it to anyone. Like quantum computing is not going to replace your existing AI systems or your existing classical systems, but it is going to act as a GPU. So where you can just use the solutions that we are providing as a plug and play system and use it to improvise the results further or optimize them further.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, no, it's really good to hear about the work that's coming out of Dubai. Uh, but it's really good to hear. I'm actually trying to convince my director to get me a flight out there to go and see it. It's not going well, but yeah, we'll get there one day. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sure. Yeah, if you're interested, there is this quantum innovation summit that is upcoming in February, in this month itself, around I
oh,
think
interesting.
27 or 28. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that in front of him. Thank you very much. I wanted to say thank you for joining me today on this edition of the Quantum Experience. I'm sure everyone at home that's watching this were very interested in the work that you're doing and your background. So thank you very much. Yeah, we'll see you in the next edition.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.